Hello, dear friends. So glad you could join us at Ben 10 What If. Today's narrative adventure is titled What If Ben 10 Was in Dragon Ball Universe. We put our heart into every story we share. If you appreciate our work, showing some love with a like and subscribe would make our day. The story begins now. Chapter 1, Worlds Collide. The Omnitrix sparked and fizzled against Ben Tennyson's wrist, its familiar green glow now pulsing with an alarming crimson tinge. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not during what should have been a routine patrol through Bellwood. Come on, you piece of junk. Ben smacked the alien device with his palm. Not now. The watch face popped up without his command, cycling wildly through alien profiles he couldn't even track. Something was seriously wrong. Energy crackled up his arm, painful little jolts that made his muscles spasm. Azimuth is gonna kill me if I broke this thing again, he muttered through gritted teeth, trying desperately to twist the dial back into place. The world around him began to shimmer and distort. Buildings stretched like taffy, the sky swirled like water circling a drain, and a sensation like being pulled inside out gripped Ben's entire body. Oh man, this is so not, his words vanished into a flash of blinding light. Reality itself seemed to tear around him, and Ben Tennyson fell screaming through a rift he couldn't comprehend. Colors he had no name for streaked past. His body felt simultaneously stretched to infinity and compressed to nothing. Then, without warning, solid ground slammed into him. Good. Ben finished his sentence while face-planting into dirt. He lay there for a moment, tasting earth and trying to convince his lungs to work properly again. The Omnitrix had stopped sparking at least, returning to its normal green glow as if nothing had happened. Thanks for the smooth landing, Ben grumbled, pushing himself up onto his knees and spitting out dirt. Next time maybe try for. A thunderous boom cut him off, the shockwave nearly knocking him flat again. The ground beneath him trembled. What the heck was that? Earthquake. Bomb. Ben staggered to his feet, squinting against harsh sunlight as his vision cleared. He wasn't in Bellwood anymore. Rolling hills stretched before him, and the air felt different, cleaner, charged with some strange energy he couldn't identify. Another boom rattled his teeth, this time accompanied by a flash of golden light from just beyond the nearest hill. Instinct kicked in. Whatever was happening, people might need help. Ben broke into a run, scrambling up the grassy slope toward the commotion. As he crested the hill, he skidded to a stop, jaw dropping at the impossible scene below. Two men hovered in midair, surrounded by auras of crackling energy. One glowed brilliant gold, spiky hair defying gravity, while the other radiated blue light so intense it hurt to look directly at him. They moved faster than Ben's eyes could track, disappearing and reappearing as they exchanged blows that literally shook the earth. No way, Ben whispered. Each impact created shockwaves that Ben could feel in his chest. These guys weren't just fighting, they were demolishing the laws of physics. The Golden One laughed as he caught a punch that would have leveled a building, countering with a kick that sent his blue-haired opponent rocketing into a distant mountain. The mountain exploded. And the blue-haired guy just got back up. Ben had seen a lot of weird stuff as a hero. Aliens, magic, parallel dimensions. But nothing quite like this. He ducked lower into the grass, mind racing. Those energy signatures didn't match anything in the Omnitrix database. Were they new aliens? Mutants? And more importantly, were they threats? The golden-haired fighter suddenly froze mid-punch, head snapping toward Ben's location with unerring accuracy. Hey! Someone's watching us, he called out, voice surprisingly cheerful for someone who'd just been trying to cave in his opponent's skull. The blue-haired man scoffed. Focus, Kakarot. Or are you that desperate for a distraction from getting beaten? No, seriously Vegeta, look. I sense a weird energy over there. The golden fighter pointed directly at Ben's hiding spot. It doesn't feel like Ki, but it's definitely something. Ben's cover was blown. Staying hidden wasn't an option, and running from guys who could fly and punch through mountains seemed particularly pointless. He stood up, brushing grass from his jacket. Hey there, he called, trying to sound casual while mentally cycling through his alien options. For arms. Heat blast. Don't mind me, just passing through. In a blink, both fighters appeared directly in front of him. Not ran. Appeared. Ben stumbled back in shock, nearly tripping over his feet. Whoa. Personal space, dudes. Up close, they were even more intimidating. The Golden One's aura had faded somewhat, revealing a friendly but scrutinizing face. He wore an orange GI with a blue undershirt, and despite his relaxed posture, Ben sensed tremendous power contained within him. The blue-haired man was shorter but somehow projected even more danger, arms crossed over white body armor, eyes narrowed with suspicion. Who are you? Blue-hair demanded. And what's that strange device on your wrist? I'm Ben. Ben Tennyson. He instinctively covered the Omnitrix with his other hand. And this is just a watch. Custom job. It doesn't feel like a watch, the golden-haired guy said, leaning uncomfortably close. It's giving off energy readings I've never felt before. Almost like, it's alive somehow. Ben took another step back. Look, I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. I'm just lost and trying to figure out where I am. Lost? The Golden Fighter's serious expression broke into a wide grin. Well, you're at the Capsule Corporation training grounds. I'm Goku, and this grumpy guy is Vegeta. Vegeta? Goku? The names triggered something in Ben's memory, a show his cousin Ken used to watch obsessively. Guys with crazy hair who could blow up planets. But that was just a cartoon, wasn't it? Wait, did you say Capsule Corporation? Ben's mind raced. As in, the company run by Bulma Brief? Both fighters tensed slightly. How do you know Bulma? Vegeta's voice dropped dangerously low. Oh crap. This was either the weirdest dream ever or something had gone seriously wrong with reality. Before Ben could answer, the Omnitrix chose that exact moment to beep loudly and flash, drawing everyone's attention. That's definitely not a normal watch, Goku said, excitement creeping into his voice. What does it do? It's complicated. Ben weighed his options. If these really were the characters he thought they were, hiding the truth wasn't going to work. And if they wanted the Omnitrix, they could probably take it by force. Look, this is going to sound crazy, but I think I'm from another universe. This device lets me transform into different aliens. Aliens? Goku's eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. You mean like Frieza? Or the Namekians? I don't know who those are, Ben admitted. But I can show you, if you promise not to freak out. Vegeta scoffed. We've faced gods and destroyers. Your parlor tricks won't freak us out. Perfect. Ben activated the Omnitrix, the familiar holographic dial springing to life. Both fighters leaned forward with interest as Ben scrolled through alien forms before settling on one that might impress even these powerhouses. Going Hero. Green light engulfed him as the transformation took hold. Muscles expanded, skin hardened into crimson plates, and 4 massive arms burst from his torso. When the light faded, 4 arms stood towering over both fighters. Whoa! Goku jumped back, eyes wide with delight. That's amazing. You completely changed your power signature too. Vegeta looked less impressed but couldn't hide his interest entirely. Humph. A transformation technique. Not unlike our own. 4 arms flexed his multiple limbs. This is just one of many. I've got aliens for just about any situation. Can you fight in that form? Goku bounced excitedly on his heels. We could spar. Goku, I don't think that's, 4 arms started, but was interrupted by a new voice. What's all the commotion out here? I told you two not to destroy the gravity chamber again. A woman with blue hair strode confidently up the hill, wearing a lab coat over casual clothes. She stopped short at the sight of 4 arms, mouth forming a perfect O of surprise. Bulma. Goku waved enthusiastically. Look what we found. This guy can transform into aliens with his watch. 4 arms raised all 4 hands in an awkward greeting. Hi. I'm Ben Tennyson. Or 4 arms right now, I guess. Bulma recovered quickly, scientist's curiosity overtaking her shock. Fascinating. And you say a watch does this? Mind changing back so I can see it? 4 arms nodded and slapped the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. Another flash of green, and regular Ben stood before them. See? Just a normal teenager. He held up his wrist. The Omnitrix lets me transform into different alien species. But something went wrong, and I think I got transported to, well, what I'm pretty sure is supposed to be a fictional universe. Bulma stepped forward, examining the device with professional interest. Interdimensional travel? That's not unheard of. We've dealt with other timelines before, but entire separate realities, that's new. So you believe me? Ben asked hopefully. The evidence is standing right in front of me, Bulma shrugged. Plus, that device is like nothing I've ever seen, and I've seen most of the advanced tech in several universes. Great. Ben brightened. Then maybe you can help me get home? Before Bulma could answer, the air behind them distorted. Ben felt it before he saw it, the same wrong sensation from when the Omnitrix malfunctioned. A small tear appeared in empty space, widening like a jagged mouth to reveal swirling darkness beyond. That can't be good, Ben muttered, readying the Omnitrix. Goku and Vegeta immediately shifted stances, power flaring around them. What is that? Goku asked, all playfulness gone from his voice. Trouble, Ben replied, just as a figure stepped through the rift. He looked almost identical to Ben, but with stark white hair and crimson eyes. His smirk was cruel, and on his wrist sat a device similar to the Omnitrix but with inverted colors. Hello, Tennyson, the newcomer drawled. Fancy meeting you in this, primitive dimension. Albedo. Ben narrowed his eyes. Should have known you'd be behind this. You know this guy? Goku asked, not taking his eyes off the rift. He's basically my evil twin, Ben explained quickly. He's got a knockoff version of the Omnitrix and a serious grudge. Albedo laughed. Knockoff? My Ultimatrix is superior in every way. And soon I'll have more power than you could possibly imagine. He gestured to the world around them. This universe is saturated with energy unlike anything in our reality. Energy I intend to harness. Not gonna happen. Ben activated the Omnitrix, transforming in a flash of green light into Humungosaur, the dinosaur-like alien towering over everyone present. Albedo responded by transforming into his own version of Humungosaur, but immediately evolved it to ultimate form, spikes and armor covering his body. Always a step behind, Tennyson. Stay back, Vegeta warned Ben. We'll handle this. No way, Humungosaur growled. He's my problem. Without waiting, Ben charged his counterpart, the ground shaking with each massive step. The two giants collided with a thunderous crash, grappling and throwing punches that would demolish concrete. Ultimate Humungosaur laughed as he caught Ben's fist. You don't get it, do you? I've been studying this universe for weeks. I know exactly what we're dealing with. He demonstrated by suddenly releasing a blast of energy from his free hand, not the standard projectiles this form usually produced, but something that looked suspiciously like. Is that Ki? Goku exclaimed, eyes wide. The energy blast caught Humungosaur directly in the chest, sending him flying backward. Ben crashed through several trees before skidding to a stop, smoke rising from his scorched scales. Okay, that's new, he groaned, pushing himself up. The hit had hurt far more than it should have. Goku appeared beside him in an instant. "You alright?" "Been hit harder," Humongousaur lied, wincing as he straightened. "But how's he using your energy attacks?" "He's somehow adapted to this universe's power system," Bulma called from a safe distance. "If he's been here weeks like he claims, he's had time to learn." Ultimate Humongousaur stalked forward, body glowing with the same energy Ben had seen surrounding Goku and Vegeta earlier. "The energy in this dimension is incredible, Tennyson. Raw power waiting to be shaped by will alone. And with the Ultimatrix to contain and focus it." He suddenly shot upward, faster than Humongousaur could track, then dive-bombed from above with a ki-enhanced punch that created a crater where Ben stood. Or would have stood, if Goku hadn't grabbed him and moved him at literal light speed. "Thanks," Ben gasped, genuinely rattled. He needed to switch tactics. This form wasn't working against Albedo's enhanced version. He slapped the Omnitrix symbol, transforming in a flash of green light. Jetray. The aerodynamic alien shot into the sky, firing neuroshock beams from his eyes and tail. Albedo dodged most, but one caught him in the shoulder, spinning him around. Two can play at that game. Albedo transformed into his own Jetray, but once again evolved it into an ultimate version with multiple eyes and enhanced beam capabilities. The aerial battle that followed pushed Ben to his limits. Despite Jetray's incredible speed, Albedo's evolved form was faster, and the added ki energy made his neuroshock blasts devastatingly powerful. Down below, Goku watched with rapt attention. "This is amazing. They keep changing forms mid-battle." "Focus, Kakarot," Vegeta snapped. "The dimensional breach is still open and expanding. Whatever this Albedo is doing, it's destabilizing the barrier between universes." Bulma was already scanning the rift with a handheld device. "He's right, Goku. The energy readings are off the charts. If it keeps growing at this rate." In the sky, a neuroshock blast finally connected squarely with Jetray, sending Ben spiraling toward the ground. He transformed again just before impact. Cannonbolt. The spherical alien bounced once, twice, then unfurled next to the Z-fighters. "This isn't working. He's countering everything I throw at him, and those energy attacks give him a serious edge." "Ki," Goku corrected. "It's called ki. And maybe I can help." He grinned excitedly. "What if I taught you how to use it too? Right now?" Ben asked incredulously as Ultimate Jetray dive-bombed toward them. "No time like the present." Goku grabbed Ben's spherical form and spun him around like an Olympian with a hammer throw. "Focus on your center. Feel the energy inside you." "What are you, Aya?" Ben's question turned into a yell as Goku released him, sending Cannonbolt hurtling toward Albedo at incredible speed. Something clicked in that moment. Ben felt a new energy stirring within him, responding to Goku's own power. It wasn't like mana or the Omnitrix's energy, this felt deeper, more primal, connected to his very life force. Cannonbolt began to glow with a faint green aura as he slammed into Ultimate Jetray with far more force than his mass should allow. The impact sent Albedo crashing back through his own dimensional rift. "I did it." Cannonbolt bounced excitedly. "Did you see that? I think I used ki." "Just a taste of it," Goku laughed. "But not bad for your first try." The celebration was short-lived. The rift pulsed violently, widening further. Albedo stepped back through, now transformed into Ultimate Swampfire, body crackling with blue flames infused with ki energy. "Enough games," he snarled. "I didn't come alone, Tennyson." As if on cue, the rift expanded, and a new figure emerged, tall, imposing, with tentacles on his face and armor covering his massive body. Vilgax. Ben gasped, immediately switching forms. Big chill. The moth-like alien exhaled a freezing vapor, attempting to immobilize both threats at once. But this Vilgax was different. His armor glowed with energy that Ben recognized from both his universe and this one, a hybrid technology that seemed to repel the freezing attack. Your old tricks won't work, Tennyson, Vilgax rumbled. In this universe, I've found power beyond imagination. Vegeta stepped forward, blue aura flaring around him. I don't care who you are. This is my planet, and you're trespassing. Ah, the Prince of all Scions, Vilgax smiled cruelly. Your reputation precedes you, even across dimensions. Wait, you know about this place? Big Chill asked, momentarily surprised. We've been monitoring this universe for some time, Albedo explained, superior smirk firmly in place. All those energy spikes from their battles. Impossible to miss from the higher dimensions. This realm is practically hemorrhaging power. Goku moved to stand beside Ben, dropping into a fighting stance. Whatever you're planning stops now. I think not. Vilgax raised a device that looked like a cross between alien tech and Dragon Ball technology. This universe's Dragon Balls, combined with Galvan technology. The possibilities are endless. Dragon Balls. How do you even, Ben began, but was cut off as Vilgax activated the device. The dimensional rift expanded dramatically, the edges crackling with unstable energy. The sky darkened, clouds swirling unnaturally overhead. What's happening? Ben shouted over the rising wind. The dimensional barriers are collapsing. Bulma yelled back, scanner beeping frantically. He's trying to merge the universes. That would destroy both. Ben transformed again. Atomix. The powerful alien rose into the air, nuclear energy swirling around his mechanical body. Let me tell you something, Vilgax. You mess with one universe, you get punched. You mess with two universes. You get punched twice. Atomix gathered energy between his hands, the glow intensifying. Nuclear winner. The blast shot toward Vilgax, only to be intercepted by a ki-enhanced fireball from Ultimate Swampfire. The resulting explosion knocked everyone back, leaving a smoking crater in the Capsule Corp grounds. Vegeta recovered first, blasting into the sky with a roar of fury. You dare attack my home? Blue energy surrounded him as he launched toward Vilgax, landing a punch that would shatter mountains. Vilgax caught it with one hand. Impossible. Vegeta snarled, eyes widening in shock. In your universe, perhaps. Vilgax tightened his grip, making even the proud Scion Prince wince. But I've absorbed power from a dozen realities. He threw Vegeta aside like a ragdoll, then turned his attention to Atomix. Your Omnitrix is the final piece I need, Tennyson. Surrender it, and I might spare these worlds. Not happening. Ben charged forward alongside Goku, who had powered up to what Ben recognized as Super Saiyan Blue. The four-way battle that erupted was unlike anything Ben had experienced before. Vilgax and Albedo fought with the strength of their own universe enhanced by Ki, while Ben struggled to adapt his transformations to this new reality's rules. Only Goku seemed truly in his element, moving with blinding speed and unleashing energy attacks that lit up the sky. Ben! Bulma called from below. The Omnitrix. It's reacting to the dimensional energy. She was right. The Omnitrix symbol on Atomix's chest was flickering between green and a strange golden color Ben had never seen before. Something about this universe was affecting it. An idea struck him. If Albedo could adapt to this universe's energy. Goku. I need to try something. Ben called out, narrowly dodging a blast from Vilgax. Can you buy me some time? No problem. Goku grinned, excitement evident despite the dire situation. Vegeta. Double team. The Saiyan Prince had recovered and rejoined the fight, pride demanding vengeance. Don't order me around, Kakarot. Nevertheless, both Scions launched a coordinated attack, forcing Vilgax and Albedo back toward the rift. Ben landed near Bulma, transforming back to human form. The Omnitrix is adapting to this place, just like Albedo said. If I can figure out how to control it, it might be able to stabilize the dimensional breach, Bulma finished, mind working at incredible speed. But you'd need something to counterbalance the energy Vilgax is using. The Dragon Balls? Ben suggested. Bulma's eyes widened. Yes. But we'd need time to gather them. Above them, the battle intensified. Goku and Vegeta were holding their own, but Vilgax and Albedo were clearly growing stronger by the minute, drawing power from the expanding rift. Time is something we don't have, Ben said grimly, watching as Vilgax landed a devastating blow that sent Goku crashing into a distant mountain. I need to try something else. He activated the Omnitrix again, scrolling quickly through his aliens until he found one that might help. Please work. Alien X. The transformation was instantaneous. Where Ben had stood now floated a being of living darkness, skin like the night sky filled with stars, with a green Omnitrix symbol on his chest. Bulma stumbled back, overwhelmed by the sudden shift in pressure around them. What is that form? Ben didn't answer immediately. Within Alien X, he found himself in the familiar void, facing the two personalities that shared control of this cosmic being. Bellicus, Serena, we have an emergency, he explained rapidly. Two universes are about to collide. Another universe? Bellicus, the voice of rage, scoffed. Not our problem. But it is. Ben argued. Vilgax is trying to harness power from both to become unstoppable. Serena, the voice of love, considered this. The balance between realities is delicate. Such disruption could ripple through the multiverse. Exactly. Ben seized on this. And there's something else, this universe has energy called Ki that might help Alien X become even stronger. This caught Bellicus's interest. More power, you say? If we work together, Ben pressed, we can stop the dimensional collapse and defeat Vilgax once and for all. The cosmic entities exchanged glances, then nodded in unison. Motion carried. Outside, Alien X's body suddenly flared with power, stars within his skin burning brighter. The Omnitrix symbol on his chest pulsed, absorbing the ambient Ki energy of the Dragon Ball universe. Vilgax and Albedo paused their assault on the Scions, turning toward this new threat. The Celestialcipian, Vilgax growled. I should have known you'd resort to this. Alien X raised a hand, voice echoing with three speakers in unison. Your dimensional tampering ends now. With a gesture, he froze time around Vilgax and Albedo, leaving only the Z fighters able to move. Whoa! Goku exclaimed, battered but still excited. What kind of technique is that? Alien X can manipulate reality itself, Ben explained through the cosmic being. But in this universe, with Ki flowing through everything. I've never felt this kind of power before. Vegeta approached cautiously. Be careful, boy. Power like that corrupts. I know, Ben assured him. That's why I need your help. I can contain them, but the rift is still growing. We need to close it before it tears both our universes apart. Bulma ran up, scanner in hand. He's right. The rift is becoming self-sustaining. Even with Vilgax neutralized, it'll continue expanding. Then we hit it with everything we've got. Goku declared, powering up again. No. Bulma grabbed his arm. Adding more energy could make it worse. We need something to counteract the specific frequency of the dimensional breach. Alien X studied the rift, the cosmic awareness of this form allowing Ben to see patterns invisible to others. The Omnitrix might be able to generate a cancellation wave, but I'll need to be precisely in phase with this universe's energy. Ki control, Vegeta stated, surprising everyone. The boy needs perfect Ki control. But that takes years to master. Bulma protested. Goku's face lit up. Not necessarily. Ben, what if you and I fused? Fused? Alien X's three voices asked simultaneously. The fusion dance. It would combine our powers temporarily. My key control with your, whatever that is. Absolutely not. Vegeta objected. Fusion with an entity of unknown origin. The consequences could be catastrophic. While they argued, Ben noticed something alarming. The time freeze around Vilgax was weakening. The dimensional energy was somehow counteracting Alien X's power. We don't have time to debate. Ben's voice momentarily overpowered the others within Alien X. The freeze won't hold much longer. As if on cue, Vilgax's finger twitched. Then his hand. The paralysis was breaking. Kakarot's fusion idea might work, Vegeta admitted grudgingly. But not with that form. It's too powerful, it would overwhelm the fusion. Alien X nodded. In a flash of green light, Ben returned to human form, staggering slightly from the mental strain. Then let's do it. Quick, show me the steps. Goku powered down to his base form and demonstrated the ridiculous-looking dance moves. Follow exactly. If we mess up even a little, the fusion could go wrong. Ben mimicked the movements as best he could, aware that Vilgax was breaking free with every passing second. Like this? Close enough for a first try, Goku shrugged. On 3. 1, 2. Wait. Bulma interrupted. The Omnitrix. Will it affect the fusion? Ben looked down at his watch. It was still fluctuating between green and gold, absorbing key energy from the environment. I don't know. Behind them, Vilgax roared as he finally broke free of the time freeze. Albedo followed suit a moment later. No more time. Goku positioned himself. Fusion, now. Fu-yu-yu-yu-shaun. Ha! Their fingertips touched at the exact moment Vilgax fired an energy blast at them. Light exploded outward, blinding everyone present. When it cleared, where Ben and Goku had stood was now a single figure, with Goku's spiky hair but Ben's jacket, and the Omnitrix symbol prominently displayed on his chest. Whoa, the fusion spoke, voice a blend of both. This feels awesome. Goku? Ben? Bulma asked tentatively. The fusion grinned, striking a pose that was pure Goku but with Ben's cockiness. Call me Goken. Vilgax launched forward, tentacles writhing with rage. Whatever you've become, you'll still fall. Goken caught his punch with casual ease, the impact creating a shockwave that flattened trees for miles. I don't think so, Squid Face. With a flick of his wrist, he sent Vilgax flying backward. The Omnitrix symbol on his chest glowed, cycling through alien forms while key energy swirled around the fusion's body. This is incredible. Goken exclaimed. I can feel the Omnitrix connecting to the key network of this universe. Albedo transformed into Ultimate Humongousaur again, charging with a roar. Goken didn't even look his way, simply raising a hand and releasing a focused ki blast that sent the evil doppelganger crashing into Vilgax. The Dimensional Rift. Bulma shouted, scanner beeping frantically. It's reaching critical instability. Goken nodded, suddenly serious. He floated upward, hovering before the chaotic tear between universes. The Omnitrix symbol expanded, projecting a holographic interface unlike anything Ben had used before. I can see it now, the fusion murmured. The frequency pattern. The dimensional harmonics. His hands moved through the hologram, adjusting settings with intuitive precision. Omnitrix, initiate Universal Calibration Protocol. Universal Calibration Protocol activated, the Omnitrix responded in Asmitha's voice, surprising everyone. Caution, cross-dimensional synchronization may have unpredictable effects. Do it anyway, Goken commanded. The Omnitrix symbol expanded, projecting a beam of energy directly into the rift. The chaotic energies began to stabilize, edges of the tear gradually pulling inward. Vilgax recovered, rage contorting his features. No. I won't be denied. He launched himself at Goken, device in hand. Vegeta intercepted him with a flying kick, sending the warlord tumbling. "You'll have to get through me first," the Saiyan Prince snarled. Vilgax matched his glare. "With pleasure." The two clashed in midair while Goku continued the dimensional repair. Albedo circled warily, looking for an opening. "The rift is closing." Bulma called out. "It's working." Indeed, the tear was shrinking, its violent energy being channeled into the Omnitrix. But Goku was clearly struggling, sweat pouring down his face as he maintained the connection. "Too much power," he grunted. The Omnitrix wasn't designed for this. The symbol on his chest began flashing red, the familiar warning of an impending timeout. "No, not now." Goku fought to maintain control. "Just a few more seconds." Albedo saw his opportunity. Transforming into Ultimate Echo, he unleashed a sonic attack directly at the fusion. Distracted and overloaded, Goku couldn't defend himself. But someone else could. Final flash. Vegeta's signature attack intercepted the sound waves, the resulting explosion sending Albedo plummeting to the ground. The Saiyan Prince appeared beside Goku, arms crossed. "Hurry up, Fusion. I can't babysit you forever." Goku managed a strained smile. "Thanks for the save." With one final push, he channeled every ounce of remaining energy into the Omnitrix. The rift contracted rapidly, pulling Vilgax, who had been too close to the edge, back toward it. "No," the warlord roared, grasping desperately at empty air. "I won't return empty-handed." He threw his device at Goku with his remaining strength. The gadget attached itself to the Omnitrix, causing a cascade of sparks and alarms. "That can't be good," Goku muttered, just before a blinding explosion engulfed him. The rift collapsed with a thunderous implosion, taking Vilgax with it. When the light cleared, Goku and Ben lay unconscious on the ground, the fusion undone. The Omnitrix on Ben's wrist was smoking but intact, once again its normal green color. Albedo struggled to his feet, ultimate form fading back to his human appearance. Vegeta landed before him, palm raised with energy gathering. "Your master is gone," the Saiyan Prince stated coldly. "Surrender or join him." Albedo glanced around, calculating his odds. Without Vilgax or the dimensional rift, he was outmatched. With a snarl of frustration, he activated his damaged Ultimatrix. "This isn't over, Tennyson," he shouted at Ben's unconscious form. "I'll find another way back." Before Vegeta could stop him, Albedo transformed into Jetray and streaked away at hypersonic speed, quickly disappearing over the horizon. Bulma rushed to check on Goku and Ben. "They're alive. Just exhausted." Vegeta landed beside them, arms crossed but concern evident in his eyes. "The dimensional breach?" "Completely sealed," Bulma confirmed, checking her scanner. "Although, there's residual energy. Almost like an echo between universes." Ben groaned, eyelids fluttering open. "Did we win?" "Vilgax is gone," Vegeta informed him curtly. "The albino copy escaped." "Albedo," Ben corrected automatically, sitting up with a wince. "He'll be back. He always comes back." Beside him, Goku stirred, immediately sitting upright with excitement. "Wow! That fusion was amazing. Did you feel the power? It was like nothing I've ever experienced." Ben couldn't help smiling despite his exhaustion. "Yeah, it was pretty cool. Though the dance moves could use some work." Goku laughed, then grew more serious. "But Vilgax's device, it did something to your Omnitrix before the rift closed." Ben examined the watch carefully. It looked normal again, but when he activated it, new aliens appeared in the selection, ones he'd never seen before. "It's adapted," he realized. "Somehow it's incorporated data from this universe." Bulma knelt beside him, scientific curiosity piqued. "The Omnitrix might be the key to getting you home, but we'll need to study these changes carefully." So I'm stuck here for now? Ben asked, surprised to find he wasn't entirely upset by the prospect. Looks like it, Bulma confirmed. But hey, Capsule Corp has plenty of guest rooms. And I'm sure these two, she jabbed a thumb at Goku and Vegeta, would love to spar with your aliens. Goku was practically bouncing with excitement. Oh man, this is gonna be awesome. I want to see all your transformations. Can you turn into something that shoots energy beams? Or something super fast? Or, Kakarot, Vegeta interrupted with an exasperated sigh, the boy nearly died closing a dimensional rift. Perhaps give him a moment to breathe. Ben chuckled, getting to his feet with a slight wobble. It's okay. After I get some food and rest, I'm game. Food? Goku exclaimed as if just remembering such a thing existed. Yes. You must be starving after that fusion. Saiyan metabolism is no joke. As they walked back toward Capsule Corp, Ben gazed up at the sky of this strange new world. Albedo was still out there, potentially causing trouble. The Omnitrix was acting weird. And who knew what effects the dimensional crossing might have long-term. But for now, he was alive, he had powerful new allies, and maybe, just maybe, this accidental trip between universes had happened for a reason. Behind them, unnoticed by anyone, a tiny spark of dimensional energy flickered and disappeared. The rift was closed, for now. Chapter 2, Power Unleashed. Ben woke up with a jolt, briefly forgetting where he was until the memories of dimensional rifts and superpowered aliens flooded back. Right. He was stuck in the Dragon Ball universe, sleeping in a Capsule Corp guest room that would make 5-star hotels jealous. Okay, still weird, he muttered, staring at the ceiling. The Omnitrix felt warm against his wrist, almost humming with energy. Ever since the fusion with Goku, it had been acting different, not malfunctioning exactly, but definitely changed. New alien silhouettes had appeared in the selection screen, forms he'd never seen before. A thunderous crash from outside made the entire building shake. Ben tumbled out of bed, instinctively reaching for the Omnitrix. Another day in the Dragon Ball universe, another earth-shattering kaboom. He peered out the window to see Vegeta standing in the yard, arms crossed and scowling at a smoking crater. Too slow, Kakarot, the Saiyan Prince shouted. A child could have dodged that. From inside the crater, Goku's cheerful voice responded, "Come on Vegeta, I was distracted." I sensed Ben waking up. Great. Super aliens with energy sensing. Privacy was clearly not a thing here. Ben threw on his clothes and headed downstairs, following the smell of food to a massive kitchen where Bulma was drinking coffee while monitoring several tablets simultaneously. "Morning," she greeted without looking up. "Help yourself to breakfast. Fair warning though, if you don't hurry, Goku might finish it all when he comes in from training." "Thanks." Ben grabbed a plate and loaded it with what looked like normal Earth food, despite the alien surroundings. "Any luck figuring out how to get me home?" Bulma finally looked up, pushing blue hair from her eyes. "I've been analyzing the energy signatures from your Omnitrix. It's remarkable technology. The dimensional rift left traces I can track, but recreating a stable portal would require enormous power. So I'm stuck here?" Ben asked around a mouthful of toast. "Not permanently. But it might take time." Bulma set down her tablet. "In the meantime, we should figure out what Vilgax's device did to your watch. And why Albedo was so interested in our universe specifically." The back door slammed open, and a sweaty, grinning Goku bounded in. "Ben! You're up. Wanna train?" Despite himself, Ben smiled. Goku's enthusiasm was infectious, like a puppy that could bench press planets. "Sure, but I don't think my normal aliens are exactly in your weight class. That's why training exists." Goku grabbed an entire platter of food and began inhaling it at alarming speed. "Plus, after our fusion, I have some theories about your Omnitrix and Ki energy." Vegeta entered behind him, looking marginally less grumpy than usual. The boy's transformations should be capable of channeling ki. We saw evidence during the fight with Vilgax. Wait, you guys want to teach me how to use ki? Ben perked up. Like those energy blasts and flying and stuff? Exactly. Goku beamed, somehow speaking clearly despite his mouth being full. I bet you'll pick it up quick too. Your alien forms might even have advantages we don't. But first, Bulma interjected, I need to run some diagnostics on the Omnitrix. Make sure it's stable after yesterday's event. Ben nodded, extending his wrist. The device looked normal, the familiar green and black contrasting against his skin. Bulma ran a scanner over it, eyebrows raising at whatever data appeared. Fascinating, it's actually incorporated key pathways into its structure. Almost like it's evolving to match this universe. Azimuth did say it was alive in its own way, Ben commented. Can I still use it safely? I think so, Bulma replied, not entirely convincingly. Just maybe avoid that cosmic black form for a while. The readings from that were concerning. Alien X. Yeah, that form's always been complicated. Goku, having demolished enough food for 10 people, bounced up from his chair. Great. Now can we train? You know what? I think I need that right about now. Ben grinned. After the chaos of dimensional travel and nearly dying, hitting something really hard sounded therapeutic. 10 minutes later, Ben stood in the middle of a massive training room beneath Capsule Corporation. Reinforced walls surrounded him, and monitoring equipment blinked from every corner. These aliens of yours, Vegeta said, circling Ben with critical eyes. How much control do you maintain when transformed? Complete control, Ben replied. I keep my mind, just get the alien's body and abilities. Good. Transform into your strongest combat form. Ben activated the Omnitrix, cycling through icons before selecting one. Let's try Humongosaur. Green light flashed, and the massive dinosaur-like alien towered over the Science. This form's good for straight-up strength. Goku's eyes widened with childlike wonder. Wow! You're huge. Can you get even bigger? Humongosaur grinned, concentrating as his body expanded further. Yep. Size alteration is part of the package. Vegeta was less impressed. Size means nothing without proper technique. Without warning, he launched forward, delivering a punch to Humongosaur's midsection that folded the massive alien in half. Oof. Ben wheezed, staggering backward. Even holding back, Vegeta hit like a freight train. Too slow, the Saiyan Prince criticized. Your larger form sacrifices speed for power, but in this universe, the strongest fighters have both. Humongosaur straightened, rubbing his stomach. Noted. Let me try something else. He slapped the Omnitrix symbol, transforming in a flash. XLR-8. The velociraptor-like alien with wheels for feet zipped around the room, leaving afterimages. How's this for speed? Goku laughed delightedly. Now we're talking. But can you track fast-moving opponents? He vanished from sight, suddenly appearing behind XLR-8 with a light tap on the shoulder. Ben spun around, but Goku was already elsewhere. This is fun. Goku called from across the room, then appeared directly in front of Ben again. XLR-8's enhanced reflexes were impressive, but Goku moved at speeds that seemed to break physics itself. After several failed attempts to tag the Saiyan, Ben transformed again. Jetray. The aerodynamic alien took to the air, firing neuroshock beams that Goku casually dodged. You've got good energy projection, Goku observed, but you're not channeling ki. You're using your alien biology instead. Is there a difference? Ben asked, landing beside them. Huge difference, Vegeta interjected. Ki comes from within. It's life energy, shaped by will and training. Your transformations use predetermined biological weapons. Think of it like this, Goku offered. Your aliens are like having different guns with different bullets. Ki is like learning to make the bullets yourself, whatever shape you need. That actually made sense. So how do I learn to use Ki? First, you feel it, Goku said, suddenly serious. Close your eyes. Jet Ray complied, feeling slightly ridiculous. Focus inward, Goku continued. There's energy flowing through everything living. In your core, a warmth, a power source. Ben concentrated, searching for whatever Goku was describing. At first, nothing happened. Then, faintly, he felt something, a warm current flowing through Jetray's body, different from the normal energy this form used. I feel something, he said uncertainly. Good. Goku sounded excited. Now try to gather it. Pull it toward your hands. Jet Ray focused, attempting to direct the strange energy. A faint glow appeared around his claws. That's it. Goku encouraged. Now push it out, like you're throwing a ball. Ben thrust his hand forward, expecting maybe a small spark. Instead, a wild surge of green-tinged energy erupted from his palm, blasting a hole in the reinforced wall and continuing through several more rooms beyond. Oops, Jet Ray said weakly. Vegeta smirked. Not bad for a first attempt. Bulma's gonna kill us, Goku said cheerfully. But that was great. Your alien forms must amplify Ki somehow. The Omnitrix is adapting, Ben realized. Just like Bulma said. A blaring alarm interrupted them. Red lights flashed throughout the facility. What's happening? Ben asked, transforming back to human form. Bulma's voice came over the intercom, everyone to the command center. We've got trouble. The command center was a high-tech war room with screens covering every wall. Bulma stood at a central console, blue hair tied back and expression grim as she typed furiously. Other Z fighters had arrived as well. Ben recognized Gohan from Bulma's descriptions, plus a short bald man and a tall green alien who could only be Piccolo. What's the situation? Vegeta demanded as they entered. Bulma pulled up a global map with multiple flashing red dots. Energy signatures matching albedos have appeared simultaneously at several locations worldwide. He can't be in multiple places at once, Ben said, studying the map. Not unless he's found a way to clone himself. Or he's working with someone, Piccolo suggested, arms crossed. A screen flickered to life, showing footage from a city under attack. Ben's stomach dropped as he recognized the figure floating above the destruction. Frieza, Goku growled, all childlike playfulness gone from his voice. The alien emperor looked just as Ben remembered from Ken's Dragon Ball posters, pale with purple biogems, radiating malevolence. And beside him floated Albedo in his ultimate humongousaur form. Told you I'd be back, Tennyson, Albedo's voice came through the speakers. And I've made some interesting friends. Frieza laughed, the sound sending chills down Ben's spine. So this is the famous Ben 10 I've heard so much about. The one who changes forms like a chameleon. How did they find each other so quickly? Gohan asked. Evil has a way of recognizing evil, Piccolo replied grimly. Ben stepped forward. Whatever they're planning, we need to stop them. Where are they attacking? That's the problem, Bulma answered, zooming out the map. Multiple locations simultaneously. West City, East City, the polar regions, even Korin's tower. They're after something. The Dragon Balls, Goku realized. They must be trying to gather them. Vegeta scowled. With the Dragon Balls and that dimensional technology, they could tear open the barriers between universes permanently. We need to split up, Gohan decided. Cover all locations. I'll go with Ben, Goku volunteered immediately. Vegeta crossed his arms. No, Kakarot. You take the location where Frieza was spotted. I'll babysit the shapeshifter. I don't need babysitting, Ben protested. Evidence suggests otherwise, Vegeta retorted. Your power is raw and uncontrolled. Against Frieza or your doppelganger, that's a liability. As much as Ben wanted to argue, Vegeta had a point. Fine. Where are we headed? Bulma highlighted a location in the mountains. Energy readings suggest Albedo was here recently. And it's near where we detected some unusual dimensional disturbances last night. Great, Ben sighed. Mountain climbing with Mr. Personality. Vegeta almost smiled, almost. Try to keep up, Tennyson. The flight to the mountains was awkwardly silent. Vegeta soared through the air under his own power, while Ben had transformed into Jet Ray to keep pace. The Saiyan Prince hadn't spoken a word since they left Capsule Corp, apparently content to scowl at the horizon. So, Ben finally said, "You and Bulma, huh? How'd that happen?" Vegeta's scowl deepened. Focus on the mission, not my personal life. Just making conversation, Ben muttered. Flying in silence is boring. Boredom is preferable to pointless chatter. Another minute of silence passed before Vegeta unexpectedly spoke again. Your transformations. How many do you have? Ben perked up at the question. Originally 10. Now dozens. Maybe more with whatever the Omnitrix absorbed from your universe. And each has different abilities. Exactly. Different aliens, different powers. Helps me adapt to whatever situation I'm facing. Vegeta considered this. Not entirely unlike our transformations. Super Saiyan, God form, blue. Except I don't have to scream for 5 minutes and change my hair color, Ben joked. To his surprise, Vegeta snorted. Kakarot does enjoy his dramatic power-ups. They flew over a ridge of mountains, the air growing colder and thinner. Ben spotted something gleaming in a valley below, metal reflecting sunlight where none should be. Down there, he called, diving toward the anomaly. Vegeta followed, landing gracefully beside Ben as he transformed back to human form. Before them stood what appeared to be a makeshift laboratory built into the mountainside. Alien technology blended seamlessly with equipment Ben recognized from Capsule Corporation. Albedo's been busy, Ben commented, approaching cautiously. Vegeta held out a hand, stopping him. Wait. Something's not right. The Saiyan Prince closed his eyes, concentrating. There's a strange energy signature inside. Not key, not like your transformations either. Ben activated the Omnitrix. Only one way to find out. Going hero. He transformed into Swampfire, the plant-like alien's methane-scented body drawing a disgusted look from Vegeta. Did you have to choose the one that smells like a sewer? The Saiyan complained. Plant-based form, Ben explained. Good for reconnaissance, I can regrow parts if something attacks me. They entered the lab cautiously. Inside, screens flickered with data and equations beyond Ben's understanding. Equipment hummed with power drawn from generators that looked salvaged from Capsule Corp technology. Look at this, Ben said, examining a central console. He's mapping the dimensional barriers between our universes. Vegeta studied the screens. The fool is trying to weaken reality itself. But why? What does Albedo get out of working with Frieza? Power, a voice answered from behind them. Unlimited power. They spun to find Albedo leaning against the entrance, arms crossed casually. He'd reverted to his human form, white hair and red eyes, the mirror opposite of Ben. Albedo, Ben growled, methane igniting around his hands. Tennyson, his double replied mockingly. And the prince of all 5 remaining Saiyans. I'm honored. Vegeta's aura flared blue. You have 3 seconds to explain your plan before I reduce you to atoms. Albedo laughed. Always so direct. Very well. He gestured to the equipment around them. Your universe fascinates me, Vegeta. The energy you call ki, it's unlike anything in our reality. Properly harnessed, it could revolutionize the Omnitrix's potential. So you caused all this just for a power upgrade? Ben asked incredulously. Oh, it's far more than that, Albedo replied, walking toward a covered object in the center of the lab. Your original Omnitrix was designed as a tool for understanding. How pedestrian. But combined with this universe's energy. He pulled the cover away, revealing a modified version of the Ultimatrix connected to what looked like a Dragon Ball. Is that, Vegeta started. The 4-star ball? Yes. Albedo stroked it lovingly. Fascinating objects, these Dragon Balls. Containers of nearly unlimited reality warping power. Ben stepped forward. Whatever you're planning, it stops now. I think not. Albedo pressed a button on his wrist, and the modified Ultimatrix began to glow. The Dragon Ball pulsed in response, orange light flowing into the device. Stop him! Vegeta shouted, launching forward. Albedo smiled as the energy surrounded him. Too late. The transformation was unlike anything Ben had seen before. Albedo's body morphed rapidly, cycling through multiple alien forms before settling on something new, a hybrid creature with Chromastone's crystalline body, Heatblast's flames, and what appeared to be Scion armor fused to its form. What is that? Ben gasped. Evolution, Albedo replied, voice resonating with power. The Dragon Balls don't just grant wishes, they contain the essence of divine energy. Combined with the Ultimatrix and this universe's key. He didn't finish the sentence. Instead, he demonstrated by firing a blast of energy that sent both Ben and Vegeta crashing through the lab wall and into the mountainside beyond. Ben groaned, pulling himself from the rubble. That hurt. Get up, Vegeta growled, already on his feet. This just became interesting. Albedo floated from the destroyed lab, energy crackling around his crystalline body. I've only absorbed one Dragon Ball's energy so far. Imagine what I'll become with all 7. Vegeta's hair flashed blue, aura exploding around him. You'll never get the chance to find out. He vanished, reappearing behind Albedo with a devastating kick aimed at his head. Albedo caught it without looking, crystal skin glowing brighter. Your power is impressive, Prince, he acknowledged. But predictable. Ben didn't wait for more dialogue. Transforming from Swampfire to Diamond Head, he charged forward, creating crystal blades from his arms. The crystalline alien might counter Albedo's new form better. The three clashed in midair, shockwaves from their blows shattering nearby mountain peaks. Vegeta was a blur of blue light, attacking with precision and fury. Ben used Diamond Head's crystal manipulation to create shields and weapons, adapting moment by moment. But Albedo was keeping pace with both of them. Worse, he seemed to be analyzing their fighting styles, adjusting his own with each exchange. The Ultimatrix was designed to evolve aliens to their peak potential, Albedo explained between attacks. Combined with dragon energy and ki, it's evolving me in real time. Then let's see how you handle this. Ben slapped the Omnitrix symbol, transforming again. Feedback. The plugged alien grinned, tendrils extending. Time to siphon off some of that excess energy. He grabbed Albedo's arms, connectors latching onto the crystalline surface. Energy began to flow from Albedo into Feedback's body, the Omnitrix symbol glowing brighter. Yes. Ben exulted. How's that taste? But Albedo was smiling. Exactly as I hoped. With shocking speed, he reversed the energy flow, sending a surge of power back through Ben's connectors. Feedback screamed as the overload of mixed energy, ki, dragon power, and alien tech, coursed through him. Ben! Vegeta shouted, momentarily distracted. Albedo used the opening to blast the Scion Prince away, then focused on Ben. Your conductoid form is perfect for what I need. A living conduit. Feedback struggled against the energy drain, the Omnitrix flickering erratically on his chest. What are you doing? Establishing a connection, Albedo replied smugly. A bridge between our universes through our devices. The Omnitrix suddenly sparked violently. Ben felt a pulling sensation, not physical but somehow deeper, as if reality itself was being stretched around him. Stop, he gasped. You'll tear everything apart. A necessary sacrifice for evolution. Albedo increased the power flow. A blue flash interrupted the connection as Vegeta slammed into Albedo at full speed, breaking his grip on Ben. Feedback collapsed, smoking slightly, as the Saiyan Prince engaged Albedo in a flurry of punches too fast to follow. Ben! Vegeta called between strikes. Your watch is destabilizing. Transform back. The Omnitrix was indeed going haywire, cycling through alien forms randomly. Ben focused his remaining energy, slapping the symbol and reverting to human form. The watch face glowed an angry red, beeping in what sounded suspiciously like a countdown. That doesn't sound good, Ben muttered, backing away from the aerial battle above. Vegeta was holding his own against Albedo, but the transformed villain was getting stronger by the minute, absorbing energy from every attack the Saiyan launched. Your battle techniques are magnificent, Albedo complimented, catching a punch that would have shattered a planet. But ultimately futile. Every attack feeds my evolution. Then let's try something else, Vegeta snarled. He suddenly disengaged, flying backward to create distance. Bringing his hands together, he gathered energy in his palms, blue light concentrated to a brilliant point. Final flash. The devastating beam of energy erupted toward Albedo, who made no attempt to dodge. Instead, he spread his arms, absorbing the attack directly into his crystalline body. The power surge transformed him further, his form growing larger, more dragon-like. Yes. Albedo laughed maniacally. More. Vegeta, stop. Ben shouted. He's using your energy to evolve. The Saiyan Prince cut off his attack, but the damage was done. Albedo now towered over them, draconic features blending with alien technology, 7 glowing spots on his chest mimicking the Dragon Balls. One down, he rumbled, voice deeper and more resonant. 6 to go. Ben looked down at the Omnitrix. The red flashing had stopped, replaced by the standard green glow, but something felt different. New icons had appeared in the selection menu. Vegeta, he called up to the hovering Saiyan. I need to try something crazy. Crazier than what's already happening. Vegeta retorted, never taking his eyes off Albedo. Maybe. Ben activated the Omnitrix, selecting one of the new alien forms. Here goes nothing. The transformation felt different, smoother, yet somehow more intense. Green light mixed with golden energy as Ben's body changed. When it cleared, a new alien stood in his place, humanoid but clearly Saiyan-inspired, with green-black hair that rose like flames and an aura that shifted between emerald and gold. Whoa, Ben breathed, looking at his transformed hands. What is this? Vegeta stared in shock. Impossible. You've somehow become a Saiyan. Not just any Saiyan, Ben realized, feeling the power surging through him. The Omnitrix must have sampled your DNA during our fusion. I'm calling this one Ultimate Saiyan. Albedo paused his evolution, genuinely surprised. The Omnitrix adapted to this universe's species. Fascinating. Ben didn't wait for more analysis. Instinctively tapping into his new form's abilities, he launched upward, moving with speed that rivaled Vegeta's. His first punch caught Albedo off guard, sending the draconic villain crashing into a mountainside. Incredible, Vegeta muttered, watching Ben move with natural Saiyan fighting instincts. Ultimate Saiyan felt amazing, raw power flowing through every cell, reflexes beyond anything Ben had experienced before. He didn't just have Saiyan strength, somehow the Omnitrix had incorporated battle knowledge into the transformation. Not bad, Tennyson, Albedo called, extracting himself from the mountain. But your new toy doesn't compare to my evolution. He fired a blast of mixed energy, part ki, part dragon power, part alien tech. Ben reacted instinctively, bringing his hands together in a familiar stance. Kamehameha. The blue-green energy wave erupted from his palms, meeting Albedo's attack midair. The collision point pulsed with unstable power, reality itself warping around it. The boy knows Kakarot's technique? Vegeta said incredulously. Then understanding dawned. The fusion. The Omnitrix didn't just sample Saiyan DNA, it recorded everything. Ben couldn't focus on Vegeta's realization. He was pouring everything into the energy clash, but Albedo was still gaining ground. The draconic villain had too much power from the Dragon Ball. Vegeta. Ben called through gritted teeth. I need help. The Saiyan Prince appeared beside him instantly, adding his own attack to Ben's. Gallic Gun. The purple energy beam merged with Ben's Kamehameha, pushing back against Albedo's attack. For a moment, it seemed they might overpower him. Then Albedo laughed, his form shifting again. You don't understand. Every energy you throw at me becomes part of my evolution. His body absorbed both attacks, growing larger and more monstrous. The 7 spots on his chest glowed brighter, and cracks appeared in the air around him, tiny fissures in reality itself. He's destabilizing the dimensional barriers again. Ben realized. Vegeta nodded grimly. We need to retreat. We can't beat him through direct confrontation. Retreat? You. Ben was genuinely shocked. Tactical withdrawal, Vegeta corrected with a scowl. There's a difference. They disengaged, flying backward as Albedo continued his transformation. The dimensional cracks spread outward from him like a spiderweb. You can't escape, he called after them. This entire universe will soon be my evolutionary catalyst. Ben and Vegeta didn't slow down, putting miles between themselves and Albedo within seconds. We need to warn the others, Ben said once they were safely distant. If Albedo gets all 7 Dragon Balls. He won't, Vegeta stated firmly. But we need a new strategy. Energy attacks only make him stronger. Ben reverted to human form, the Omnitrix beeping as it reset. That new Saiyan transformation was incredible, but it's not enough on its own. Vegeta studied him with newfound respect. You handled Saiyan power surprisingly well for a human. Thanks. I think. Ben checked the Omnitrix. It needs to recharge after that form. Must take a lot of energy to maintain. Vegeta nodded. Saiyan biology is demanding. Even with the Omnitrix's adaptations, it would strain your human physiology. A beeping from Vegeta's pocket interrupted them. He pulled out a communication device similar to a smartphone. Vegeta here, he answered gruffly. It's Bulma. We've got problems everywhere. Frieza's forces are attacking multiple Dragon Ball locations. Goku and Gohan are engaged with him at West City, but we've lost contact with Piccolo and Krillin. What about the dimensional breaches? Ben asked, leaning closer to the device. Expanding, Bulma confirmed grimly. And not just at your location. Readings show reality fractures appearing globally, centered around Dragon Ball locations. It's Albedo, Ben explained. He's found a way to evolve by absorbing Dragon Ball energy and ki. Each evolution weakens the barriers between our universes. That's not all, Bulma added. We're detecting energy signatures coming through the breaches. Not from your universe, Ben, from somewhere else entirely. A third dimension. Vegeta frowned. How is that possible? The dimensional barriers are like a dam, Ben realized. Once they start breaking, pressure from other realities pushes through too. Get back here immediately, Bulma ordered. We need to coordinate a response before these breaches tear the planet apart. On our way, Vegeta confirmed, pocketing the device. He glanced at Ben. Can your watch handle another transformation for faster travel? Ben checked the Omnitrix, still recharging after the ultimate Scion form. Give it a minute. That new alien really drained it. Vegeta scowled impatiently. We don't have. A massive explosion cut him off, the shockwave nearly knocking them out of the air. They turned to see a pillar of light erupting from where they'd left Albedo, stretching into the sky until it pierced the clouds. That's not good, Ben muttered. The light expanded outward, forming a dome of energy that grew at frightening speed. Reality visibly warped around its edges, the air shimmering like a heat mirage. Move! Vegeta grabbed Ben and accelerated to full speed, leaving a blue energy trail behind them. They barely stayed ahead of the expanding dome. Whatever it was, Ben didn't want to find out what happened if it caught them. The Omnitrix beeped, indicating it had recharged enough for use. About time. Ben activated it mid-flight, scrolling quickly through his options. Let's try XLR-8. The transformation complete, Ben zipped out of Vegeta's grasp, matching the Scion speed on his own. Race you back to Capsule Corp, he challenged. Vegeta smirked. You're on, shapeshifter. They accelerated together, the expanding dome of warped reality falling behind as they pushed their speed to the limit. Despite the dire situation, Ben felt a strange thrill. He was actually keeping pace with a Scion prince. Not bad, Vegeta admitted as they raced side by side. But watch this. His aura flared brighter, and he shot forward with a burst of speed that left XLR-8 eating dust. Show off. Ben called after him, pushing his form's capabilities to the maximum. They streaked across the landscape, covering hundreds of miles in minutes. Behind them, the dome of warped reality continued to expand, though more slowly now. When they finally reached Capsule Corp, they found chaos. Scientists ran back and forth between monitoring stations. Alarms blared from multiple sources. On the main screen, video feeds showed similar energy domes forming at locations across the globe. There you are. Bulma exclaimed as they entered the command center. The situation's deteriorating faster than expected. Ben transformed back to human form. Albedo's evolving beyond control. He's using the Dragon Ball energy to warp reality itself. Not just Albedo, Bulma brought up a new feed showing Frieza, now glowing with similar energy to what they'd seen in Albedo. They're working together, sharing the technology. Frieza's absorbing power from the two-star ball. Where's Kakarot? Vegeta demanded. As if on cue, Goku teleported directly into the room, looking battered but still ready for action. Hey guys. Things are getting pretty crazy out there. Goku. Ben exclaimed. Are you okay? I'm fine, the Scion waved off his concern. But Frieza's got some new tricks. He was absorbing energy from that Dragon Ball like it was a battery, getting stronger by the second. Just like Albedo, Ben confirmed. They've figured out how to use the Dragon Balls to evolve themselves. And the dimensional barriers are failing as a result, Bulma added, bringing up a global map showing spreading fractures in reality. At this rate, complete dimensional collapse in under 12 hours. So how do we stop it? Gohan asked, entering the room with Piccolo behind him. All eyes turned to Ben. Great. No pressure. We need to cut off their energy source, he said, thinking quickly. The Dragon Balls are powering their evolution. If we can separate them from the balls. Easier said than done, Piccolo rumbled. They've grown too powerful for direct confrontation. Not for all of us together, Goku countered optimistically. If we attack simultaneously. No, Ben interrupted, an idea forming. Energy attacks just make them stronger. But the Omnitrix might have something that can help. He looked down at the device. It's been adapting to this universe. Maybe it's adapted a way to counter what's happening. What are you suggesting? Vegeta asked. I need to try connecting to the Omnitrix at a deeper level, Ben explained. When Albedo linked our devices, I felt something, like the Omnitrix was trying to communicate with me. It might know how to stop this. Bulma looked skeptical. That's a big gamble. Do we have another choice? Ben challenged. The assembled heroes exchanged glances. Finally, Goku stepped forward. I trust Ben. If he thinks the Omnitrix can help, we should try it. Thank you, Ben said, genuinely touched by the Scion's confidence. What do you need from us? Gohan asked. Ben considered. Time. And maybe a power boost. The Omnitrix tapped into ki energy during my Scion transformation. Maybe with more ki. A power transfer? Piccolo suggested. We could channel our energy into him, like we did for the Spirit Bomb. Goku's face lit up. That's it. If we all focus our ki into Ben and the Omnitrix. It might provide enough power for whatever the watch needs to do, Ben finished excitedly. Vegeta crossed his arms. While we're powering up the boy, who deals with Frieza and Albedo? Me, came a voice from the doorway. A man in an orange GI with a third eye stood there, alongside a small pale-skinned being with red circles on his cheeks. Tien. Kaiotsu. Goku greeted them warmly. We'll buy you time, Tien stated simply. Yamcha and Android 18 are already engaging Frieza's forces near the 3-star ball location. It'll be dangerous, Gohan warned. Tien nodded grimly. We know. But we won't have to win, just distract them long enough for your plan to work. Then it's settled, Goku declared. Tien and the others will keep Frieza and Albedo busy while we power up Ben and the Omnitrix. Ben looked around at these warriors who barely knew him, yet were willing to risk everything based on a plan that was shaky at best. The responsibility was overwhelming. I won't let you down, he promised. You'd better not, Vegeta replied, though his tone lacked its usual bite. Because if this fails, 2 universes die. No pressure, Ben muttered. Less than an hour later, Ben found himself standing in the center of a massive circular chamber beneath Capsule Corporation. The room had been specially designed for containing powerful energy, its walls engraved with symbols Ben didn't recognize. Around him stood the assembled Z fighters, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and even Bulma, who had insisted on monitoring the Omnitrix during the process. On screens above, they could see Tien, Yamcha, and the others engaging Frieza's forces around the world, buying them precious time. Ready? Goku asked, already powering up to Super Saiyan Blue. Ben nodded, activating the Omnitrix. Instead of transforming immediately, he held it in its active state, the holographic display hovering above his wrist. I think I need to be human for this, he said. The Omnitrix connects directly to my DNA. If I transform, that connection might be lost. Makes sense, Bulma agreed, adjusting sensors around the room. We'll start the key transfer slowly. If anything feels wrong, tell us immediately. Ben took a deep breath. Let's do this. The Z fighters took positions around him, each beginning to power up. The air crackled with energy as auras flared, Goku and Vegeta's blue, Gohan's white, Piccolo's purple. The pressure in the room intensified until Ben could barely breathe. Channel your ki toward Ben, Piccolo instructed. Focus on the device, not his body. He can't handle raw ki like we can. Streams of colored energy extended from each fighter, converging on the Omnitrix. The device began to glow brighter, its standard green shifting toward gold. It's working, Bulma confirmed, checking her readings. The Omnitrix is absorbing the energy. Ben felt the watch growing warm against his skin, then hot, then almost unbearable. But something else was happening too, images flashing through his mind, information flooding in too fast to process. The Omnitrix is trying to communicate, he gasped. I can see everything. Albedo's modifications, the dimensional tiers, the Dragon Ball's energy signature. Can you counter it? Vegeta demanded, strain evident in his voice as he maintained the energy transfer. Ben focused harder, sorting through the flood of information. I think so. The Omnitrix has been analyzing everything since we arrived. It's developed I guess you'd call it an anti-evolution protocol. What does that mean? Gohan called over the roar of energy. It can reverse the process, Ben explained, understanding dawning. Cancel out the Dragon Ball energy Albedo and Frieza have absorbed. The Omnitrix suddenly expanded its holographic display, showing complex patterns Ben somehow understood instinctively. He began manipulating them, fingers dancing through symbols and equations. I need more power, he shouted. Almost there. The Z fighters pushed harder, their auras flaring to maximum intensity. The rune shook with the strain of containing so much energy. On the screens above, they saw Tien and Yamcha being overwhelmed by Frieza's forces. Android 18 was still fighting, but clearly outmatched by the evolved tyrant. We're running out of time, Piccolo warned. Almost. Ben's fingers moved faster, completing the sequence. Got it. The Omnitrix pulsed once, twice, then projected a massive holographic sphere around Ben. Within it, a model of their connected universes appeared, fracture lines visible throughout. Now I need to transform, Ben announced. But not into any single alien. He raised his hand to the Omnitrix, but instead of slapping it down, he twisted the dial in a pattern he'd never tried before. The device responded with a new sound, not the familiar activation tone, but a deeper, resonant pulse. What are you doing? Bulma asked worriedly. Something the Omnitrix just taught me, Ben replied, continuing the complex sequence. It's called a fusion override. The holographic display expanded further, alien forms cycling rapidly before settling on multiple selections simultaneously. Here goes everything, Ben muttered, completing the sequence. Light erupted from the Omnitrix, brighter than any previous transformation. It engulfed Ben completely, then expanded to fill the entire chamber. For a moment, everyone was blinded. When the light faded, where Ben had stood was now a being unlike any they'd seen before. It combined elements of multiple aliens, Atomix's nuclear power core, Feedback's energy conductors, Alien X's cosmic appearance, and what appeared to be Scion biological structures, all flowing together in perfect harmony. Ben? Goku asked uncertainly. Yes and no, the being answered, voice resonating with multiple tones. I am OmniX. A fusion of the Omnitrix's most powerful transformations, calibrated to this universe's energy patterns. Vegeta stared in shock. His power level, it's comparable to the gods. OmniX nodded. The Omnitrix has temporarily bypassed its safeguards to create this form. It won't last long, but it should be enough. Enough for what? Gohan asked. To reset the dimensional barriers and negate the Dragon Ball energy Albedo and Frieza have absorbed. On the screens, they saw new energy domes expanding from where Frieza and Albedo were located, reality itself breaking down around them. We need to go now, OmniX stated. With a gesture, he created a portal in the air before him. This will take us directly to them. All of us? Piccolo asked. I'll need you to contain them while I implement the reset protocol, OmniX explained. Alone, I might not be able to affect both simultaneously. Goku grinned, cracking his knuckles. Sounds like fun. Be careful. Bulma called as they approached the portal. That form might be unstable. Only one way to find out, OmniX replied, stepping through the portal. The others followed, emerging into a nightmare landscape. They stood atop a plateau overlooking what had once been East City. Now it was the center of a reality storm, buildings warped into impossible shapes, gravity fluctuating wildly, the sky torn open to reveal swirling dimensional chaos. At the center floated two monstrous figures. Frieza had evolved into something resembling his golden form but corrupted with draconic features and glowing Dragon Ball energy. Beside him, Albedo had completed his transformation into a being of pure evolutionary potential, constantly shifting between forms too alien to comprehend. Tennyson, Albedo's voice boomed across the distorted landscape. You've evolved as well. How fascinating. Frisia's cold eyes narrowed. More monkeys to exterminate? And what's this new creature? Their power is immense, Gohan whispered. Even with all of us together. We don't need to defeat them, OmniX reminded him. Just contain them long enough for the reset protocol to activate. Goku stepped forward, powering up to maximum. Leave that to us. Ready, Vegeta? The Saiyan Prince smirked, his own aura flaring. Try to keep up, Kakarot. In an instant, they vanished, reappearing around Frisia and Albedo in a coordinated attack pattern. Gohan and Piccolo joined them, creating a box formation that kept the two villains centered. OmniX floated upward, positioning himself directly above the battle. Energy conductors extended from his arms, connecting to the dimensional tiers in reality. What are you doing? Albedo demanded, suddenly concerned. Fixing what you broke, OmniX replied simply. He began the protocol, energy flowing through his conductors into the dimensional fractures. The Omnitrix symbol on his chest pulsed rapidly, coordinating the complex process. Below, the Z fighters engaged Frisia and Albedo, not attempting to overpower them but simply keeping them in position. It was like trying to contain two stars with their bare hands, nearly impossible, but they only needed minutes. You fools! Frisia snarled, tail whipping out to catch Gohan across the chest. This power makes me a god. Gods can fall too, Piccolo retorted, firing a special beam cannon that temporarily disrupted Frisia's aura. Albedo realized what was happening first. No. He's trying to reverse the evolutionary process. He broke away from Vegeta's hold, rocketing upward toward OmniX. Oh no you don't. Goku intercepted him with an instant transmission, catching the evolved villain in a full Nelson hold. Keep going, Ben. OmniX's process accelerated, the dimensional tiers beginning to seal. Reality stabilized around them, buildings returning to their proper shapes, gravity normalizing. It's working. Gohan shouted encouragingly. But Albedo wasn't finished. With a roar of fury, he broke Goku's hold, his body pulsing with Dragon Ball energy. I won't be de-evolved. I've come too far. He fired a blast of pure evolutionary energy at OmniX, striking him directly in the chest. The fusion form faltered, connection to the dimensional tiers weakening. Need to complete the process, OmniX gasped, fighting to maintain control. Vegeta appeared beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. Take my energy. Finish it. Without waiting for a response, the Saiyan Prince transferred his remaining ki into OmniX. The fusion form stabilized, energy conductors reconnecting to the dimensional tiers. Thank you, OmniX acknowledged. Vegeta nodded once, then plummeted toward the ground, energy depleted. Piccolo caught him before he crashed. With renewed strength, OmniX completed the protocol. A pulse of energy erupted from the Omnitrix symbol, spreading outward in a wave that encompassed the entire area. Where it passed, reality snapped back to normal, dimensional tiers sealing themselves. Frisia and Albedo screamed as the wave hit them. The Dragon Ball energy they'd absorbed was forcibly extracted, their evolved forms destabilizing. Frisia reverted to his base form, while Albedo transformed back to his human appearance. No! Albedo cried, watching his power fade. My evolution. The Dragon Balls appeared in the air around them, the stolen energy returning to its source. They glowed brilliantly, then scattered in 7 directions, disappearing over the horizon. It's over, Goku said, powering down to his base form. Frisia, never one to accept defeat, gathered his remaining energy for one final attack. I'll destroy this entire planet. Before he could release it, Gohan appeared behind him, striking a precise point at the base of his skull. The tyrant collapsed, unconscious. Albedo remained conscious but powerless, the Ultimatrix on his wrist sparking and damaged beyond repair. "You've ruined everything," he spat at OmniX as the fusion form descended. "I saved everything," OmniX corrected. "Including you from your own foolishness." The fusion form began to flicker, its merged components becoming unstable. With a flash of green light, it reverted to Ben's human form, the teenager collapsing to his knees in exhaustion. "Ben!" Goku rushed to his side. "Are you okay?" "Yeah," Ben managed weakly. "Just, really tired. That form took everything I had." The Omnitrix on his wrist beeped softly, displaying a message only Ben could read: "Universal calibration complete. Dimensional stability restored." Piccolo landed beside them, supporting Vegeta. "The dimensional tiers are closing worldwide. Whatever you did, it worked." Ben smiled tiredly. "Not bad for a kid with a watch, huh?" Vegeta, drained but conscious, actually returned the smile. "Not bad at all, Tennyson." Albedo watched them with hatred in his red eyes. "This isn't over. There are other universes, other powers to harness." "But not today," Ben replied firmly. He struggled to his feet, approaching his fallen double. "The Omnitrix showed me something while I was transformed. A way home." "What?" Gohan asked. "You found a way back to your universe?" Ben nodded. "The reset protocol didn't just repair the damage, it mapped the pathways between dimensions. With Bulma's help, I think I can create a stable portal." "You're leaving?" Goku looked genuinely disappointed. "I have to," Ben said apologetically. "My universe has its own threats that need handling. Plus, I miss my family." Albedo laughed bitterly. "Running away, Tennyson? Afraid of what else this universe might offer?" Ben ignored him, turning to the Z fighters. "But before I go, we need to deal with these two." "Frieza we can handle," Piccolo stated grimly. "But your doppelganger?" "I'll take Albedo with me," Ben decided. "In my universe, we have ways of containing him." "Then it's settled," Goku declared. "Let's head back to Capsule Corp and get that portal working." As they gathered for Goku's instant transmission back to headquarters, Ben took a last look at the city below, now returned to normal. For a brief moment, part of him wished he could stay longer in this world of incredible powers and larger-than-life heroes. But another part, the part that had grown during his time here, knew that his own universe needed Ben 10. And thanks to what he'd learned in the Dragon Ball world, he was returning stronger than ever. 3 days later, Ben stood before a swirling portal in Bulma's laboratory. The Omnitrix had provided the dimensional coordinates, while Bulma's genius had created the technology to open a stable gateway between universes. "You sure this will drop me off in Bellwood?" Ben asked, eyeing the portal skeptically. "Within 50 meters of where you disappeared," Bulma confirmed. "I've triple-checked the calculations." Beside her stood the assembled Z fighters, all there to see him off. Even Vegeta had shown up, though he maintained his characteristic scowl. "I don't know how to thank you guys," Ben said, genuinely moved by their presence. "No thanks needed," Goku replied with his infectious grin. "That's what friends do." "Besides," Gohan added, "you saved our universe too." Albedo stood nearby, hands bound by energy-suppressing cuffs and the damaged Ultimatrix removed from his wrist. He glared silently at the proceedings, but offered no resistance. "What will you do with him?" Piccolo asked, nodding toward Albedo. "Plumber Headquarters has containment cells designed for rogue Galvans," Ben explained. "And Azimuth will want to examine that modified Ultimatrix." Bulma approached, handing Ben a small device. "Take this. If you ever need to contact us, or if something like this happens again, it should establish a communication link between dimensions." "Cool." Ben pocketed it gratefully. "Though maybe next time we can arrange a visit without the whole universes collapsing thing. Where's the fun in that?" Goku laughed. Vegeta stepped forward unexpectedly. Tennyson. Vegeta. The Saiyan Prince regarded him seriously. That ultimate Saiyan form of yours. Don't forget what you learned while using it. Ben nodded, understanding the significance of Vegeta's words. I won't. Good. Vegeta extended his hand. You fought well. Ben shook it, knowing this was high praise indeed from the proud warrior. One by one, the others said their goodbyes. Goku insisted on showing Ben one last key technique, just in case, while Gohan gave him a book on martial arts philosophy. Even Piccolo offered a respectful nod. Finally, it was time. Ben activated the Omnitrix, selecting a new alien form that had developed during his time in this universe. Going Hero, he called, transforming in a flash of light. When it cleared, he stood as a combination of XLR8 and Saiyan biology, streamlined, powerful, with energy crackling around his form. I'm calling this one Velocity Saiyan, he explained. Figured extra speed might help stabilize the journey. Goku's eyes widened. Amazing. The Omnitrix really did incorporate our DNA. Ben nodded. A little piece of your universe is coming with me. He turned to the portal, nudging Albedo forward. Time to go home. Until next time, Ben Tennyson. Goku called, waving enthusiastically. Velocity Saiyan gave a final salute, then stepped into the swirling gateway, pushing his sullen counterpart ahead of him. The journey between dimensions was both instantaneous and eternal, a paradox of physics that Ben's enhanced form processed in real time. They passed through layers of reality, glimpsing other universes briefly before the familiar skyline of Bellwood appeared before them. They emerged in Bellwood Park, the portal closing behind them with a soft pop rather than the violent tear that had brought Ben to the Dragon Ball world. Early morning sunlight filtered through trees, and the familiar sounds of his hometown surrounded them. Home sweet home, Ben murmured, transforming back to human form. Albedo looked around sourly. Back to this backwater dimension. How disappointing. Oh, I don't know, Ben replied, checking the Omnitrix. It had returned to its normal functions, but he could feel the new alien forms waiting within, along with the knowledge he'd gained. I think this dimension just got a lot more interesting. He activated his plumber badge, calling for a pickup. This is Ben Tennyson. I've returned from, well, it's a long story. I have Albedo in custody and need transport to headquarters. As he waited for a response, Ben looked up at the sky, wondering if somewhere across the dimensional barrier, Goku was already asking when they could visit his universe. The thought made him smile. Some threats might require the power of a Saiyan. Some might need the versatility of the Omnitrix. But Ben had learned that the greatest power came from bringing different worlds together, something that neither Albedo nor Frieza could understand. And if the dimensions ever threatened to collide again, well, he had friends on both sides ready to face whatever came next. The Omnitrix beeped softly, almost as if in agreement. Chapter 3, Ultimate Alliance. 3 months had passed since Ben's adventure in the Dragon Ball universe, but the effects lingered. The Omnitrix had permanently incorporated Saiyan DNA and key manipulation into its database, giving Ben transformations he was still learning to master. Most days, he'd spend hours practicing with his new Velocity Saiyan form, feeling the rush of ki energy flowing through his transformed body. Today, he hovered cross-legged above his backyard, eyes closed in concentration. Grandpa Max watched from below, stopwatch in hand. 2 hours and 17 minutes, Max called up. New record for maintaining the transformation while channeling ki. Ben opened his eyes, the green-gold aura around his streamlined Saiyan body flickering slightly. Still not good enough. Goku could maintain his form for days. You're not Goku, Max reminded him. And this isn't their universe. Different rules apply here. With a sigh, Ben descended, landing lightly on the grass. His Velocity Saiyan form resembled a sleeker, more agile version of a Saiyan warrior, blue-tinted skin with green-black hair that rose in flame like spikes, and the Omnitrix symbol prominently displayed on his chest. "I know," Ben admitted. "But if something like albedo happens again, I need to be ready." The communication device Bulma had given him sat on a nearby table, silent as it had been since his return. Ben checked it daily, both hoping for and dreading any contact. A message would be welcome, but might also mean trouble. "Speaking of being ready," Max said, checking his plumber badge, HQ detected unusual energy readings downtown. Similar to the dimensional fluctuations from before. Ben's head snapped up. "Albedo?" "He's still locked up in plumber custody." "Not albedo," Max shook his head. "Different signature. But definitely extra-dimensional." Ben transformed back to human form in a flash of green light, the Omnitrix beeping as it reset. "I'll check it out. If it's connected to the Dragon Ball universe." "Be careful," Max warned. "Those power levels aren't something to take lightly." Ben grinned, activating the Omnitrix again. "When am I not careful?" Max's raised eyebrow spoke volumes. "Fair point," Ben conceded. "Going hero." He transformed into XLR-8, the speedster alien being more practical for city travel than flying forms that would attract attention. With a quick salute to his grandfather, Ben zoomed off toward downtown Bellwood, leaving a blue streak in his wake. The city passed in a blur as Ben's mind raced faster than his feet. 3 months of relative peace had almost convinced him that the dimensional crisis was truly over. Albedo remained securely contained, the Ultimatrix confiscated and being studied by Azimuth. No sign of Vilgax since he'd been sucked into the collapsing rift. Too good to last, apparently. Ben skidded to a stop at the edge of Bellwood Plaza, a popular shopping center now eerily deserted. Police barriers blocked off the area, and plumber agents in disguise kept civilians away. "Tennyson," a familiar voice called. Rook Blanco, Ben's plumber partner, approached with scanner in hand. "The energy readings are coming from inside the central courtyard." "What are we dealing with?" Ben asked, transforming back to human form. "Unknown," Rook admitted. "But the dimensional frequency matches your description of the Dragon Ball universe, partially." "Partially?" Rook adjusted his scanner. "It appears to be a hybrid signature. As if something has combined energies from multiple dimensions." A chill ran down Ben's spine. "That's not good." They cautiously entered the plaza, following Rook's scanner toward the central courtyard with its decorative fountain. The air felt wrong, heavy and distorted, like looking through warped glass. Static electricity made Ben's hair stand on end. "The epicenter should be right here," Rook said as they reached the fountain. Nothing seemed obviously wrong, but the water in the fountain had stopped flowing mid-cascade, frozen in time. "Weird," Ben muttered, reaching toward the suspended water. "I would not recommend," Rook began. Too late. Ben's finger touched the water, and reality shattered around them. The frozen cascade exploded into fragments of light, each piece revealing glimpses of different dimensions beyond. Ben and Rook stumbled back as the air split open, a rift forming where the fountain had been. "That's definitely not good," Ben shouted over the sudden roar of energy. Through the rift, a massive hand emerged, purple-skinned with mechanical enhancements. It gripped the edges of reality itself, tearing the opening wider. "Vilgax," Ben breathed, immediately activating the Omnitrix. But something's different. The figure that pulled itself through the dimensional tear was Vilgax, yet not the Vilgax Ben knew. This version stood twice as tall, his body a horrific fusion of organic and mechanical parts from multiple realities. Dragon Ball-style key armor covered portions of his chest, while other sections featured technology Ben had never seen before. His tentacled face remained recognizable, but one eye glowed with golden energy reminiscent of a scion transformation. "Tennyson," Vilgax's voice boomed, deeper and more resonant than before. "I have returned. What happened to you?" Ben couldn't help asking, even as he selected an alien form. Vilgax smiled cruelly. When you closed the rift, you didn't destroy me. You cast me into the void between dimensions. There, I evolved. He flexed a massive arm, energy crackling around it. I've absorbed power from a dozen realities, including your precious Dragon Ball friends. Ultimate Vilgax, huh? Ben's hand hovered over the Omnitrix. Still ugly in every universe. Vilgax roared with rage, firing an energy blast that Ben barely dodged by diving behind a concrete planter. The blast continued through the shopping center, obliterating walls and support columns. Perhaps antagonizing him was unwise, Rook commented, taking cover beside Ben. Yeah, I'm getting that, Ben agreed, then slammed down the Omnitrix. Diamond Head. The crystalline alien emerged from cover, creating a reflective shield just in time to deflect another energy blast back at Vilgax. The evolved tyrant batted it away like an annoying fly. Your transformations are nothing compared to my evolved form, Vilgax taunted. I've studied your Omnitrix across multiple dimensions. I know all your weaknesses, Tennyson. To prove his point, Vilgax suddenly moved with shocking speed, appearing behind Diamond Head and striking a precise point on his crystalline back. Ben's form shattered, fragments scattering across the plaza before reforming painfully. Okay, that hurt, Ben groaned. Diamond Head wasn't working. Time for something new. He slapped the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. Velocity Scion. Green light flashed as Ben transformed into his newest alien. Immediately, he felt ki energy flowing through his body, responding to his will like an extension of himself. Vilgax paused, genuinely surprised. Impossible. You've incorporated Scion DNA into the Omnitrix. What can I say? Ben smirked, green gold aura flaring around him. I'm a quick study. He launched forward with speed that left afterimages, landing a solid punch to Vilgax's jaw. The tyrant staggered back, more from surprise than damage. Impressive, Vilgax admitted, rubbing his jaw. But futile. His body suddenly pulsed with multicolored energy. Before Ben could react, Vilgax countered with a barrage of punches that mimicked a Dragon Ball fighting style, too fast to see, each impact like being hit by a truck. Ben crashed through what remained of the fountain, his Scion durability the only thing preventing serious injury. He struggled to his feet, spitting blood. You've learned their techniques, Ben observed, gathering ki between his palms. Let's see if you learned this one. Kamehameha. The blue-green energy wave erupted from Ben's hands, streaking toward Vilgax with devastating force. The evolved tyrant crossed his arms, taking the blast directly. When the light faded, Vilgax stood unmoved, arms smoking slightly but otherwise unharmed. Is that all? He taunted. Ben. Rook called from behind cover, firing his proto-tool ineffectively at Vilgax. We need reinforcements. Working on it. Ben replied, dodging another energy blast. He needed something stronger than Velocity Scion. Something that could match Vilgax's evolved power. The Omnitrix seemed to respond to his need, the symbol on his chest pulsing with energy. Ben felt a new transformation unlocking, something that had been developing since his return from the Dragon Ball universe. Worth a shot, he muttered, slapping the symbol. The transformation was unlike any before. Green light mixed with golden energy as Ben's body changed. When it cleared, he stood in a new form that radiated power, a perfect fusion of his ultimate forms and Scion biology. His body resembled a streamlined humanoid with crystalline patterns across deep green skin, for arms like 4 arms but proportioned more elegantly, and a crown of energy like flames for hair. The Omnitrix symbol at his center pulsed with power. Ultimate Fusion. Ben's voice resonated with strength, the name coming to him instinctively. Vilgax actually took a step back, sensing the power radiating from Ben's new form. What is this? Something new, Ben replied, flexing all 4 arms experimentally. He could feel the combined abilities of multiple aliens flowing through him, enhanced by Scion Ki. Let's call it evolution. Rook stared in amazement. Magnificent. Ben didn't waste time on further conversation. He launched toward Vilgax, moving faster than before despite his larger form. All four fists connected simultaneously, each channeling a different energy: Diamondhead's crystal power, Heatblast's flames, Big Chill's ice, and pure Scion Ki. The combined attack sent Vilgax crashing through the shopping center and out into the street beyond, leveling a small building in the process. Ben followed, flying with unprecedented speed. That actually hurt, Vilgax admitted, rising from the rubble with newfound respect in his voice. But I've absorbed power from beings that would make your Scion friends tremble. To demonstrate, he tapped into a new energy signature. His body expanded further, taking on aspects of celestial power that Ben recognized from his encounters with cosmic entities. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," Ben muttered. Vilgax unleashed a barrage of energy that transcended physical dimensions, each blast warping reality around it. Ben dodged most, but those that connected sent him reeling, the ultimate fusion form struggling to maintain cohesion. "You cannot win, Tennyson," Vilgax declared, advancing methodically. "This evolved form is beyond anything your Omnitrix can match." Ben recovered his balance, hovering above the destroyed street. "Maybe alone," he agreed. "But I'm not alone anymore." He reached into a compartment that had formed within his ultimate fusion body, withdrawing Bulma's dimensional communicator. "What are you doing?" Vilgax demanded. "Calling in backup," Ben replied, activating the device. It glowed brightly, projecting energy into the air before them. "And you're not going to like who answers." The communicator's energy formed a small, stable dimensional window, a direct link to the Dragon Ball universe. Through it, Ben could see the interior of Capsule Corp, where Bulma sat bolt upright at her workstation, apparently receiving his signal. "Ben," her voice came through clearly. "Is that you? What's happened to you?" "No time to explain," Ben answered urgently. "Vilgax is back, evolved with power from multiple dimensions, including yours. I need help. Serious help." Bulma's eyes widened as she caught sight of Vilgax through the portal. "I'll get Goku and Vegeta immediately. Can you hold him off?" "I'll try," Ben promised, "but hurry." "And Bulma? Tell them to bring everything they've got." The connection closed as Ben turned back to face Vilgax, who looked more annoyed than concerned. "Your Dragon Ball friends cannot save you," the tyrant growled. "By bringing them here, you're only giving me more power to absorb." "We'll see about that," Ben countered, settling into a fighting stance Goku had taught him. "Until then, it's just you and me." Vilgax's mouth tentacles twisted in what might have been a smile. "Then let us continue." The battle that followed devastated 6 city blocks. Ben's ultimate fusion form gave him unprecedented power and versatility, combining the strengths of his best transformations with Scion Ki manipulation. He could shift his density like Ghost Freak, generate heat and cold like Heat Blast and Big Chill, create crystal structures like Diamond Head, and channel Ki blasts like a Scion warrior. But Vilgax had evolved beyond any previous incarnation. Each time Ben adapted to one attack pattern, the tyrant would shift to power absorbed from another dimension. Energy blasts gave way to reality warping, which shifted to time manipulation, then to cosmic force projection. Rook and the Plumber forces established a perimeter, evacuating civilians and attempting to contain the collateral damage. They might as well have been trying to hold back the ocean with their hands. Ben crashed through an office building, his ultimate fusion form starting to flicker at the edges. The Omnitrix at his center beeped in warning. This new transformation was burning energy at an unprecedented rate. Running out of time, Ben muttered to himself, pushing back to his feet. "Come on, guys." Vilgax descended through the hole in the ceiling, energy crackling around his massive form. "Your new transformation is impressive, Tennyson, but fading. Surrender the Omnitrix, and I might allow your world to exist as a province in my interdimensional empire." "Hard pass," Ben retorted, gathering his remaining strength. If he was going down, he'd go down fighting. Just as he prepared to launch one final attack, reality split open behind Vilgax. A new dimensional portal formed, this one stable and controlled, unlike the chaotic rift Vilgax had created. Through it stepped Goku, already in Super Saiyan Blue form, followed immediately by Vegeta in the same state. Behind them came Gohan, Piccolo, and even Android 17 and 18. "Sorry we're late," Goku called cheerfully, cracking his knuckles. "Had to gather everyone up." Vilgax turned slowly, genuine concern crossing his features for the first time. "The Saiyans and friends," Piccolo added dryly, removing his weighted clothing with a casual shrug. Ben had never been so happy to see anyone in his life. "Perfect timing, guys. So this is your universe?" Vegeta looked around critically at the devastated cityscape. "Seems fragile." "Is that him?" Goku asked, studying Vilgax with professional interest. "The evolved guy you mentioned? He's got a weird energy signature, like a bunch of different powers all mixed together." Vilgax assessed the newcomers carefully, then smiled. "More power to absorb. You've done me a favor, Tennyson." "I wouldn't count on that," Ben warned, moving to stand beside his interdimensional allies. "These guys aren't pushovers. We noticed you've been stealing techniques from our universe," Goku said, stretching casually. "Wanna see the real thing?" Without waiting for an answer, Goku vanished, reappearing behind Vilgax with a kick that sent the tyrant hurtling through several buildings. Vegeta followed up immediately, launching a barrage of ki blasts that illuminated the sky like fireworks. "Now that's how it's done," Ben commented admiringly. Gohan landed beside him, concerned. "Your transformation is unstable, Ben. You're pushing too much power through it." Before Ben could respond, the Omnitrix symbol flashed red, and his ultimate fusion form collapsed in a burst of green light, leaving him human and exhausted. "Great timing," Ben groaned, struggling to stay on his feet. "Rest," Piccolo instructed, stepping protectively in front of him. "We'll handle Vilgax until you recover." In the distance, Goku and Vegeta continued their assault on Vilgax. Despite their incredible power, the evolved tyrant was holding his own, adapting to their fighting style with disturbing speed. "He's absorbing their energy," Ben realized, watching Vilgax grow stronger with each exchange. "Just like he did with me." Gohan nodded grimly. "I noticed. Normal attacks won't work, they just make him stronger." The Omnitrix beeped, finally recharged enough for use. Ben activated it, cycling through his options. "We need something that can counter his absorption ability." "Any ideas?" Gohan asked. Ben selected an alien form. "Maybe. Going hero." Green light flashed as Ben transformed into feedback, the plugged alien grinning confidently. "If Vilgax wants to absorb energy, let's see how he handles having it redirected." Piccolo raised an eyebrow. "Interesting strategy." They rejoined the battle to find Goku and Vegeta already switching tactics. The Saiyans had recognized Vilgax's absorption ability and shifted to physical attacks, minimizing ki usage. "Ben!" Goku called, blocking a massive punch from Vilgax. "This guy's tough. Almost like fighting Jiren and Buu combined. He keeps getting stronger." Vegeta added, landing a sequence of blows to Vilgax's midsection that would have shattered mountains but barely staggered the tyrant. "I have an idea," Ben called back. "Feedback can redirect energy. If you guys overload him with ki, I might be able to channel it away before he fully absorbs it." Goku's face lit up. "Like a spirit bomb in reverse." "Awesome." Vilgax, hearing their plan, laughed dismissively. "Your coordination is admirable but futile. I've evolved beyond such simple countermeasures." To prove his point, he unleashed a devastating attack that combined techniques from multiple dimensions, a spirit bomb-like orb of energy surrounded by reality-warping distortions and cosmic power. "Scatter!" Gohan shouted. The Z fighters dispersed, but the attack tracked them, splitting into multiple projectiles. Android 17 managed to block one with his barrier technique, while Piccolo and Gohan dodged others. Goku and Vegeta took direct hits, crashing to the ground with explosive force. Ben extended feedback's connectors toward the remaining energy spheres, attempting to absorb and redirect them. The power was overwhelming, far beyond what this form was designed to handle. But to his surprise, the Omnitrix adapted, the symbol on his chest glowing as it channeled the excess energy. "It's working!" Ben called out, feeling the Omnitrix processing and storing the multidimensional power rather than letting it overload him. Vilgax noticed too, his expression darkening. "The Omnitrix. It's evolving to counter me." "That's what it does," Ben replied, continuing to absorb energy. "Adapts to protect its wielder. And right now, that means adapting to you." The tyrant snarled in frustration, then changed tactics. He teleported directly to Ben, bypassing the others with impossible speed, and grabbed feedback by the throat. "Then I'll take it from your corpse," Vilgax growled. "Not today." Goku appeared beside them, fingers to his forehead in the instant transmission technique. He grabbed both Ben and Vilgax, then teleported again. They reappeared high in the atmosphere, Goku immediately releasing Ben and driving a ki-enhanced fist into Vilgax's face. "Thanks for the save," Ben gasped, regaining his balance. "No problem." Goku replied cheerfully, dodging Vilgax's counterattack. "But we need a better plan." Ben agreed. Fighting Vilgax one-on-one wasn't working, even with the Z fighters' help. The tyrant was too adaptable, too powerful in his evolved form. As if reading his thoughts, Vegeta appeared beside them, singed but unbowed. "This isn't working," Kakarot. "The more we fight, the stronger he becomes." "I know," Goku admitted, blocking another of Vilgax's strikes. "We need something unexpected." Ben's mind raced. What could surprise someone who had absorbed power from multiple dimensions? What technique or ability would Vilgax not be prepared for? The answer came to him in a flash of inspiration. Fusion. Both Scions looked at him in surprise. "Not just you two," Ben clarified quickly. "All three of us. A trifusion. Is that even possible?" Vegeta demanded. "The Omnitrix is already adapting to the interdimensional energy," Ben explained, dodging a blast from Vilgax. "It might be able to facilitate a three-way fusion." Goku's eyes lit up with excitement. That would be amazing. A fusion between three completely different power systems. "It's insane," Vegeta growled, then smirked. "Which means it might actually work against this abomination." Vilgax, growing tired of their mid-battle strategy session, gathered energy for another devastating attack. "Whatever you're planning ends now. We need time." Ben shouted. From below, a familiar voice responded. "Then time you shall have." Piccolo, Gohan, and the androids surged upward, intercepting Vilgax in a coordinated assault that drove the tyrant back momentarily. "Do it now." Piccolo called over his shoulder. "We can't hold him for long." Ben nodded, transforming back to human form. "Okay, this is probably going to be weird. The Omnitrix should be able to combine our DNA temporarily, creating a hybrid being with all our abilities. Like Pot-era fusion but with science." Goku said excitedly. "Sure, let's go with that," Ben agreed. "Both of you need to touch the Omnitrix at the same time when I activate it." Vegeta scowled. "If this fails, Tennyson. Then we're no worse off than we are now," Ben pointed out. "Ready?" The Scions nodded, each placing a hand on the Omnitrix as Ben activated it. The device hummed with energy, the selection dial spinning rapidly before settling on a completely new silhouette. "Here goes everything," Ben muttered, and slammed down the dial. Green light erupted outward, enveloping all three of them. To the others watching, it appeared as if they had been consumed by a miniature sun, energy radiating in waves that distorted reality around them. Vilgax broke free of his attackers, staring at the transformation with genuine concern. No. When the light faded, a single figure floated where the three had been, a being of such power that the air itself seemed to bend around them. The fusion stood tall and proud, combining Ben's build with scion muscle definition, skin a deep emerald with patterns of blue and gold energy flowing beneath it like circuitry. For arms extended from a perfectly proportioned torso, and hair like green-gold flames rose from their head. The Omnitrix symbol at the center of their chest pulsed with tricolored energy. When they spoke, the voice carried echoes of Ben, Goku, and Vegeta simultaneously. We are neither Ben, Goku, nor Vegeta. We are Gogeta. Even Piccolo looked stunned. Their power level, it's incalculable. Vilgax recovered from his surprise quickly, eyes narrowing. Another fusion? You think combining your powers will be enough to stop my evolution? Gogeta smiled, the expression holding Goku's confidence, Vegeta's pride, and Ben's resourcefulness. We don't think. We know. The fusion vanished, moving faster than even the Z fighters could track, reappearing behind Vilgax with a casual tap on his shoulder. The evolved tyrant spun around, unleashing a barrage of multidimensional energy that Gogeta simply walked through, unaffected. Impossible, Vilgax breathed. No, Gogeta replied calmly. Just beyond your evolution. What followed wasn't so much a battle as a demonstration. Gogeta moved with perfect efficiency, each action precisely calculated for maximum effect. When they struck, they combined Scion Ki techniques with the unique energy signatures of Ben's alien transformations, creating attacks Vilgax couldn't absorb or counter. The evolved tyrant tried everything: reality warping, time manipulation, energy absorption, physical combat. Nothing worked. Gogeta anticipated each tactic, countering with techniques Vilgax had never encountered. How? Vilgax demanded after a particularly devastating combination sent him crashing to Earth. I've absorbed power from dozens of dimensions. Gogeta landed before him, expression serene. And that's your fundamental mistake. You stole power without understanding it, wore it like armor without integrating it. We are true fusion, three beings in perfect harmony, each amplifying the others. Vilgax roared in frustration, gathering every ounce of his stolen power for one final, desperate attack. The energy he summoned was so intense it began to tear at the fabric of reality itself, opening new dimensional rifts around them. If I cannot defeat you, I'll destroy your universe, he declared. Gogeta remained unmoved. No, you won't. With methodical precision, the fusion extended all four arms, channeling different energy types through each: Scion Ki through one, Anodite mana through another, Conductoid electricity through the third, and the Omnitrix's unique energy through the fourth. Harmonic convergence. The four energy streams combined into a single beam of such perfect balance and power that it didn't destroy Vilgax's attack, it simply unmade it. The dimensional energy Vilgax had gathered collapsed into itself, drawn into Gogeta's perfect fusion of energies. No. Vilgax cried as his power was systematically stripped away, layer by layer, dimension by dimension. The process continued until only the original Vilgax remained, powerful by normal standards, but nothing compared to his evolved form. He fell to his knees, gasping. It's over, Gogeta stated simply. Kill me then, Vilgax spat, defiant to the end. The fusion shook their head. Death would be too simple. Instead, you'll face justice across every dimension you violated. With precise movements, Gogeta opened a controlled dimensional portal, not a chaotic rift, but a stable gateway. Through it, Ben's allies could see what appeared to be a cosmic prison, where beings of obvious power stood guard. The cosmic enforcers, Gogeta explained. Interdimensional peacekeepers who've been tracking your violations. They'll ensure you can never absorb power like that again. Before Vilgax could protest, energy chains materialized around him, binding his power completely. The chains pulled him through the portal, his final curses cut off as the gateway sealed behind him. With their opponent gone, Gogeta turned to the lingering problem, the dimensional instability Vilgax had created. Rifts continued to spread across the sky above Bellwood, threatening to tear the universe apart. "We need to close them," Piccolo stated the obvious, joining the fusion alongside Gohan and the others. Gogeta nodded. "The Omnitrix component of our fusion has adapted to interdimensional energy. We can seal the rifts, but it will consume our fusion in the process. Will you three be okay?" Gohan asked, concerned. "Yes," Gogeta assured him. "But once separated, we cannot fuse this way again. The specific conditions that made it possible are passing with Vilgax's defeat." Without further discussion, the fusion rose into the sky, positioning themselves at the center of the spreading rifts. All four arms extended outward as they began to rotate, creating a vortex of energy that connected to each dimensional tear. Cosmic restoration. Power erupted from the Omnitrix symbol at their chest, spreading outward in waves that caught each rift and gently sealed it. The process was less dramatic than the battle had been, more like careful stitching than violent closure. One by one, the rifts mended, reality stabilizing around them. As the final tier closed, Gogeta's form began to glow, the fusion reaching its limit. "Farewell," the fusion said simply, before separating in a flash of tricolored light. Ben, Goku, and Vegeta reappeared, falling briefly before catching themselves, Ben as Jet Ray, the Scions under their own power. "That was awesome!" Goku exclaimed, pumping his fists in the air. "Did you feel that power? I've never experienced anything like it." "It was acceptable," Vegeta admitted, which from him was practically gushing praise. Ben transformed back to human form after they landed, immediately staggering from exhaustion. Gohan caught him before he could fall. "Easy," the half-Scion cautioned. "That fusion took a lot out of you." "Worth it," Ben managed, grinning tiredly. "We actually did it. We beat Ultimate Vilgax." The celebration was brief but heartfelt. The Z fighters gathered around, comparing notes on the battle while Plumber forces began the massive cleanup operation. Rook approached with scanner in hand, confirming what they already knew. "The dimensional breaches are completely sealed," he reported. "More thoroughly than our previous attempt. It appears the fusion's energy had properties specifically attuned to reality repair." "The Omnitrix," Ben explained, glancing at the device on his wrist. It had reverted to its normal green color but felt different somehow, more harmonized with his DNA. It adapted to the fusion, learned from it. Speaking of which, Bulma's voice called from nearby. She stepped through a small portal, tablet in hand and scientific curiosity evident on her face. "That was the most remarkable fusion I've ever documented. The energy readings were off the charts." "Bulma." Goku greeted her cheerfully. "You missed the best part." "I recorded everything from Capsule Corp," she assured him, then turned to Ben. "Your Omnitrix is truly extraordinary technology. The way it facilitated a three-way fusion between completely different species. Azimuth would be unbearable if he heard you saying that," Ben joked weakly. Bulma's expression grew more serious. "But we have a new problem. The dimensional barriers are stronger than ever now, thanks to your fusion's repairs." "How is that a problem?" Vegeta asked. "Because they're so stable that traveling between our universes will be nearly impossible going forward," she explained. "These visits, this interchange between our worlds, this might be the last time it's possible." A heavy silence fell over the group as the implications sank in. "So, this is goodbye?" Ben asked quietly. Goku placed a hand on his shoulder. "Looks that way, buddy. But hey, we saved both our universes. Twice. That's not bad for interdimensional friends." Despite his exhaustion, Ben felt a profound sadness. These warriors from another universe had taught him so much, changed his approach to heroism in fundamental ways. The thought of never seeing them again was harder than he'd expected. "Before we go," Gohan said, breaking the silence, "we brought something for you, Ben." He handed over a small capsule, standard Capsule Corp technology. A gravity chamber, like the one Vegeta and my dad use for training. It might help you develop those Saiyan transformations further. "And this," Bulma added, offering a data crystal. "I've analyzed your Omnitrix extensively. This contains everything I learned, including theoretical modifications that might help stabilize your new alien forms." "I don't know what to say," Ben admitted, genuinely touched. "Say you'll keep training," Vegeta instructed gruffly. "That ultimate Saiyan form has potential, but your technique is still sloppy." Coming from Vegeta, this was practically a tearful farewell speech. "I will," Ben promised. "And I'll find a way to visit someday. There's got to be another method of interdimensional travel out there. If anyone can figure it out, it's you," Goku said confidently. "After all, you've got the coolest watch in the multiverse." The time for goodbye came too quickly. Bulma's calculations showed the natural drift of their universes was accelerating. If they didn't return now, they might be stranded permanently. One by one, the Z fighters said their farewells. Piccolo offered a respectful nod, the androids a casual wave. Gohan gave Ben a warrior's handclasp, while Bulma surprised him with a quick hug. Vegeta approached last, arms crossed as always. "Tennyson." "Vegeta." The Saiyan Prince studied him for a moment, then extended his hand. "You fought well. For a human." Ben shook it firmly. "You too. For a Saiyan." Vegeta almost smiled, almost. Goku, predictably, was far less reserved. He grabbed Ben in a bear hug that nearly crushed his ribs. "This was great. Next time some interdimensional bad guy shows up, give us a call." "I thought the barriers were going to be too strong," Ben reminded him, wincing as Goku released him. Goku winked. "Where there's a will, there's a way. That's what Master Roshi always says." With final waves and promises to remember their alliance, the Z fighters gathered around Bulma, who activated her portal device. A swirling gateway opened before them, offering one last glimpse of the Capsule Corp grounds beyond. "Until next time," Goku called as they stepped through. "Count on it," Ben replied, raising his hand in farewell. The portal closed with a soft pulse of energy, leaving behind only a faint shimmer in the air before that too faded away. The Dragon Ball universe was sealed off once more, this time perhaps permanently. 1 month later, Ben stood on a rocky outcropping overlooking Bellwood, the city finally rebuilt after Vilgax's attack. The sun was setting, painting the sky in colors that reminded him of Ki auras. The Omnitrix had changed since the Trifusion, becoming more intuitive, more connected to Ben's thoughts and instincts. Azimuth had examined it briefly, pronounced it adequately improved, and returned to Galvan Prime with uncharacteristic haste. Ben suspected the First Thinker was already reverse engineering the Dragon Ball universe's energy systems from what the device had absorbed. "Thought I'd find you up here," Max Tennyson said, climbing the path to join his grandson. "Just watching the sunset," Ben replied. "And thinking about your friends from the other universe?" Ben nodded. "I've been practicing with the Saiyan forms every day. Getting stronger. Just in case. In case the barriers weaken again." Max finished knowingly. "Is that crazy?" Ben asked. "To hope for another interdimensional crisis just to see them again?" Max chuckled. "Kid, after everything I've seen, hoping to visit friends across dimensions doesn't even make my top 10 list of crazy." They stood in comfortable silence, watching as the last rays of sunlight disappeared beyond the horizon. Ben activated the Omnitrix, cycling to his ultimate Saiyan form but not transforming yet. "I'm going to train for a while," he said. "The gravity chamber Gohan gave me is set up at Plumber HQ. Max nodded. Just be home for dinner. Your mother's making that pasta you like. With a grateful smile, Ben transformed in a flash of green gold light, his ultimate scion form hovering slightly above the ground. The transformation felt smoother than ever, more integrated with his human DNA. See you later, Grandpa, he called, then launched into the sky with a burst of ki energy. As he soared above Bellwood, Ben felt a strange sensation, not danger, but a kind of awareness. He paused, hovering high above the city, and looked up at the stars just beginning to appear. Somewhere out there, across dimensional barriers stronger than ever but never truly impenetrable, were friends who had changed his life. Heroes who had shown him new possibilities, new ways to be Ben 10. And someday, somehow, he knew they would meet again. Because if there was one thing both universes had taught him, it was that limits existed to be surpassed. With a grin, Ben accelerated upward, a streak of green-gold light against the darkening sky, pushing himself faster, higher, stronger, reaching for the stars and whatever lay beyond. The Omnitrix symbol on his chest pulsed in harmony with his heartbeat, a silent promise of adventures yet to come. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.